M. Henderson. I'm not seeing us, but I'm going to continue to talk. So I'm going to pause after I do a small introduction. And now I'm here alone. Where is everybody? So Regina brings the blank, and Monica fill in the blank. Regina brings the.
This is hilarious. Oh, she's going to show me. Regina brings what?
Monica,
Regina brings the fire.
okay.
All right, all right.
No one
I
was
can go with
prepared
that.
for this, y'all, so that's why there was a pause. And now Monica brings the what, Regina?
Sass.
The sass. Sassassery or just sass?
She puts you into action by kicking you in the sass.
That's good. That is good. All right. So I have planned, and actually, this was planned for last week, so I've been sitting on this.
Oh,
Three areas that I would like to cover besides working smarter, not harder. Was that what we were going to talk about? Okay.
yes.
So we're going to look at identity in my disruptor way, and we're going to look at evolution in my disruptor way, and then creation. I'm not sure I can disrupt that. So let's start off
I don't know.
with do y'all want to say anything before I start asking questions?
No, I'm
Okay.
excited. I'm curious. Let's do it.
So we're
do
talking
it, do it,
do
do
it,
it.
do it. Yeah, right. We're our own little team.
We
So
are.
identity. I've heard you mention on several occasions that you prefer to be identified as architects versus founders. And so, what are, I say this with love, what are you refusing by calling yourself architects, and what are you taking responsibility for instead?
Hmm. Well, I like this, Darcy. Um,
Way to bring the sassassery.
You're welcome.
I think for me, when you ask that question, it's passive versus active. A lot of times founders are like, I had this concept and I like brought it to life, but they don't necessarily like do the building with you. And the way that we do it is we build right alongside of you, right? So, yeah, the concept was born through us individually, and then we refined it together. And then now we refine it even still every single day. We're refining, we're building, we're, redesigning as things happen and as in a responsive way to a living ecosystem. And to me, so that's what we're taking responsibility for. And what we're refusing is to say that this is like a passive experience for us, right? It's not just like, oh, I put this out there and I did the groundwork and I got it up and running and now it like exists. It's still something we're co-creating.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm having technical difficulties, so hopefully my computer doesn't turn off on me. Uh,
But we will
but
be back if it does.
yeah,
Yes.
I'll be back if it cuts off on me. But honestly, so we always talk about Mingle being a no guru space. And I
Mhm.
think sometimes when you call yourself a founder, like there's like an implied, like you're the expert
All-knowing
in the
being.
room, you're the all knowing in the room. And so I think by calling ourselves architects as opposed to founders, it's because we're creating a space for, like, it's like we're building the stage, we're building the rooms, we're building the infrastructure for the activities of the space to happen, as opposed to just kind of like finding the thought leadership and then being like, this is what it is, right? Our thought
Mhm,
leadership is a part of what's here, but it's not the only
mhm.
thing that's here. It's actually a shared space where thought leadership is shared. And so that
It's not just
podium,
shared outwardly, it's shared in all directions, right? Yeah.
yeah, that podium
Mhm,
is essentially what we've built is a podium for people to take turns kind of sitting in that space. And I think calling ourselves co-founders makes us more important than the people that we built the space for. And we don't see ourselves that way.
Mm-mm.
I like
That's
that.
a great question.
And so there was a part of me that was going, am I egotistical for calling myself a founder of my program, right? So it's like, oh, I don't want to be that. And so then it was like, well, how do we come up with a word, a term that doesn't sound like, we're owning this shit, it's mine, no one else can touch it, because that is not my intention, which is why I fit really well here in Mingle, is that where we gather our ideas together and we grow. So what, off the top of your heads, what would be a suggested term to identify someone who has created, other than architect? Because one, that feels like your guys' term, and I don't think it necessarily applies to me personally.
I think so. I'm not implying, and I don't think that Monica is either, implying that it's a bad thing to be a founder. The reason, and honestly, I hadn't really thought of it before you asked that question, and you asked that question specifically asking, what are we refusing, right? So that made me look at it in that way. But I think there are a lot of beautiful things about the word founder also. Like if you look at it as a foundation, like you are a foundation from which to build upon, right? But it's the same reason why I've never really used the word coach. Do I coach? Yes. Do I consider myself a coach? Not really. I consider myself more of a collaborator, a partner. And it's not to say that coaching is bad, because there are times when you need coaching, right? You need someone to sit there and be like, this is the play to make, and you make that play. And you have honed yourself as the athlete of whatever sport you are in, right? Like whether even if that's the sport of business, but that's just not how I identify myself. It's not how I play the game. And so in you asking that, I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad thing to be that. You have to find whatever the terminology is that's correct for you, right? So for you, it might be something more like a weaver or a visionary, or, there might be something that really aligns for you. And those words just come to mind because it's the kind of language that I hear you using. So short story is, I think you have to just choose for yourself what language feels correct. And for us, architect felt correct.
Yes. Also, a big, I call BS to the doctor when I was like 6, who asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I said, an architect. And then he said, spell it. And I was like, I don't know how to spell it. He's like, well, I guess you can't be an architect. How about that?
Right?
I've never heard that story. That's really. That was kind of
what?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know.
Like, what's the purpose?
When I actually was, I think I was doing architecture work in this space when I realized how to spell architect. So you don't necessarily have to be able to spell something in order to be it. But
well, no doubt.
I mean, take it from me. I make up all my own words, and she has the most creative spelling there is. So do whatever the fuck you want. That's what I say.
Honestly.
I was witness to you creating a word earlier today.
It was just a few minutes ago.
Yeah. So like, I mean, it really just boils down to like when you are coming up with your terminology, it just got to feel right for you because you got to wear it. Right. So I was just recently coming off of a trip to Alabama, and and feel free to change it too. And this is why I'm saying this. So I was in the trenches with one of our members who paid for me to do what I was calling at the time an elite coaching program. Right. And I was like, I want people who are ready for change. I want people who are ready to take action. I'm ready for people to let's do this. Right. And that's exactly what we did. We were in there. It was, let's do this. But as we were carrying a really heavy box together down the hallway into the garage, I was like, I think this is named wrong. Yes, it is life and business renovations, but it is not an elite coaching program. It's an elite partnering program, because a coach was sitting on the chair telling her which boxes needed to be moved, right? And kind of like, okay, get in there and do this.
Mhm.
And sitting there and watching. And I didn't want to sit on the sideline and watch her do the things. I wanted to be in there with her. I wanted to like roll my sleeves up and like, let's make this happen together. And so, even if you do have a name, right, for something and you're like, this is what it is, feel free to be inspired to change it as you understand it deeper and as it like calls to you. Cause like after that, I was like, this is not an elite coaching program. This is an elite partnering program. I'm a partner with you to get like to kick you in the ass to get your shit done. Like that's
Oh yeah. You got to be within
Going
range
back
to
to
be able
what I
to
said
apply
about
foot to butt. I'm sorry, go ahead,
yeah,
Regina.
exactly. Well, no, I was just gonna say, like, going back to what I said earlier, she's gonna kick you in this ass. But also I was gonna say, of course, like your business needs to evolve as you evolve, and so does the language around it. And that happens all the time in corporate spaces as well, right? I remember a company that I worked for, I was there for 7 years, and I think we did a huge rebrand at least 3 times. So, you're
I have
gonna
a good one
evolve,
for you.
and
Everyone's
you're
familiar with TikTok, right?
yeah.
Used to be called Musically.
Mhm.
Really? I never knew that.
Mhm.
Used to be
Interesting.
called Musically. My daughter was on it in elementary school. It was basically a bunch of elementary school girls lip syncing to songs, which is essentially now what's happening as well. But they'd be like doing the whole thing, and then they changed it from TikTok to from Musically to TikTok, and then it kind of blew up, right? So like that naming convention of like how you name yourself, let it fit until it doesn't, and then when it doesn't, give it a new one. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the harder things for me to do is like, because back in the day, someone said that I was, what is it? It wasn't a nice word. And I'm drawing a blank. Basically, that I was going through phases. And so that I couldn't stick to one, flighty. I was flighty.
Flighty. Oh, I love that word.
Well,
Yeah.
I did not. So
That word
it
is
was
used on me
triggering.
often.
There's some bullshit out there around what people think. Like there's a lot of false security around the corporate spaces and academic spaces. I mean, if we look at what's happening in the world right now, the academic spaces are struggling, right? Like big, huge universities are
Mhm.
having a really hard time getting students and getting funding for students and growing because of all the world circumstances, right? But yeah, there's still like all the parents out there saying, go get an education in this 4-year institution because this is what's going to get you a job, right? There's so much, and I'm not saying that like that isn't a path. It is a path, but there's
Mhm.
many paths and there's many ways to do things. And there's so much language and it's like built into our belief systems that we have on like a grandiose, like a cumulative, what's the word I'm looking for? Collective, like throughout our collective belief systems and practices that value that corporate way or that academic way over everything else. And there's a lot of other ways to get stuff done. But that language that's there, it really makes it feel like if it's anything other than that, it's not secure, it's not stable, right? So even though big businesses all the time, look at Starbucks. Starbucks's logo has changed a gazillion times, and it's still recognizable on every freaking corner of every city in the entire world, right?
Literally.
And they've changed their logo a million times. Did that mean that they were flighty? But when there's an entrepreneur and you're trying to go through, especially in the early stages of your business, when you really are trying to figure it out, like the proof of concept happens in motion for entrepreneurs. It happens in the process of delivery. So you actually have to be delivering in order to responsively build, which is happening inside a corporate space too. It's just happening in an R&D room somewhere with a dedicated budget and a dedicated team behind closed doors, and all that is happening before they roll it out. You just see it out loud on entrepreneurs.
Yes. Yeah, very much so. Very much so. So thank you for that. I just want
Mhm.
to say right now that if you are watching, please pop in and hello to us so we can say hello back. So I'm going to roll into the next question, and this is about evolution over the last year. Where did Mingle outgrow you this year? Like, where did the vision demand more than you were comfortable giving?
Our vision always demands more than what we're comfortable giving. I don't know that it's ever not demanded more than what we were comfortable giving. Um,
Mm-mm.
but I think because of both of our kind of like foundational understandings of how the universe works, we were kind of like, bring it, right? So just before this
We're
call,
very comfortable with being uncomfortable.
we were reworking the entire master schedule because
Like
we had
10 minutes ago before we
10
got on
minutes
this.
ago, we were reworking our master schedule for the year
Mhm.
because we had some insights. And our last months of events were both very powerful, and also there were some like things that we noticed that like were hindrance to each other, right? Like one event was kind of like helpful in some ways, but also harmed the other event in the
Mhm.
same process. And so we literally had to um, rethink our strategy behind it, like in real
And
time while we
realign.
were at the other event on
Yeah.
in person. And while we were thinking about it, then we are like, okay, this is the change that we had to make. And then, of course, we had to come back and then systematically change everything,
Which is
right?
not a simple task.
No.
It's not a simple task. And it's not just us either, because as we mentioned before, um, Marvis, is this what you call it? Is that what you call it? Yeah, Marvis was in for some of that conversation, which actually the conversation we just had with her helped us actually understand more about what needed to be rearranged and where those tension points were still happening. So, and this is exactly what I was going to say, is that like it's not just us, it's there's a lot of people. Like we are a small business helping other small, we are small businesses. Like Monica has a small business, I have a small business, you have a small business, right? Like we all are small businesses helping other small businesses. And so even though, yeah, we are holding the reins on some of the things, we are always looking to not just how it affects us, but how it affects other people. And there are times when it's uncomfortable because it's like, yeah, it's outgrowing us, but also that means that it's outgrowing everyone else. And so if it's outside our comfort zone, it's probably very much outside everyone else's comfort zone.
Way outside of the comfort zone of everybody else.
Yeah. But again, it's like there's it's responsive building, and so sometimes we stretch and then we have to kind of feel into that stretch to understand, is it stretching too far, and or is it stretching far enough, right?
Yeah.
And that's a constant thing that we're always looking at.
Yeah. I mean, so energetically, what happens is we say we want something, and then the universe is like, hold my beer.
Here you go.
Hold my beer.
But what you didn't know was also blah, 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 blah.
Right. Right. So probably a little over a month ago at this point, we declared that we were going to work towards making $47 billion. And when we said that, the shift in the energetics around everything changed. And
Mhm.
what I think every business owner needs to know is, if you declare something bigger than where you are right now, that means everything that you are right now is not big enough to hold that, and therefore things are going to break. Right? It's like saying,
Break open, break through, break
right,
down,
like,
a lot of different
I have
ways,
this
but
whole, I would really like a whole pie. And in order for the whole pie to fit in this bowl, the bowl has to be a plate. It has to break open to receive it. And so we are both aware of that law, right? Like if I ask for something big, then that means everything that's too small is going to break. And so I think there's some comfort that comes along with the breaking. We're like, it's working already, as opposed to being like, it's working already.
Yeah, it's kind of like, hold on, we chose this ride. Let's go.
You said the words. Got to be ready for it. So,
yeah.
Well, that kind of answered part of the next question about creation and what's next. So what are you building right now that will disrupt the way people gather, learn, or lead, whether they're ready for it or not?
I can just say that they're not ready for it.
I have to agree with that, yes.
Yeah.
But if you come in ready to receive and roll with it because you know it's for your best interest and highest good, why fight the shit, right? Just go with it.
Amen, sister. So I think one of the specialties that we have is delivering multiple experiences in the same space. And it's interesting because there are some people that come in and they're like, there's so much going on and there's so much noise and like, how do I navigate this? And the answer is always just focus on you, right? Like the truth of the matter is we are in a dynamic world, in a dynamic time with information happening all the time in all different places, right? I heard something recently, some quote, I am not going to get this right, but they said something like we process like 400,000 bytes of information like every day or something. Like it might have even been even less than a day. It was like some insane, incomprehensible amount of information that we are processing as humans every day just by living on the planet, right? Like just walking through the world. This is the amount of information that we are bombarded with all the time. And a lot of times people are like, I don't want to, I just need to shut down. I need to go somewhere quiet. But the reality of it is that it's very hard to do that, right? And even if you do, unless you're going into like a soundproof chamber to do your meditation and just be in that space, the minute you come out, all that information is still happening. All that noise is still happening. And what we really condition people to do, not because this is what we set out to do, but it is kind of the environment that has just naturally happened, unfolded, created, evolved, whatever you want to say, is to focus on you and what you need to get done despite all of those things happening. And it does mean that there are actually more choices available to you, but you have to actually, hi, Rachel, you have to actually be able to ground in and focus on what you need to get done, because otherwise you're not going to get anything done ever. And you're just going to be like either a zombie that's like so tired and exhausted from all trying to figure it all out, or you're going to be like retreating all the time, right? Disassociating.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I learned in parenting is don't train yourself to only be able to think in quiet, right? So like when my daughter was born, I immediately exposed her to having to go to sleep in noise, right? Like vacuum cleaners and all of the things. So much so, like, so I was a cheerleading coach at the time, and she would be strapped to my chest in like one of those slings. And I'd be like yelling at kids, go run, go do this cheer. And she would just be asleep in this sling. What the preparation of that did is it made it so that she can lock in anytime, right? Like if she's like, I just need to lock in, she can, right? Versus babies who are, the baby's sleeping, gotta be quiet, can't make any noise. They're instantly, something happens. What? Hey, what's going on? Like they're awake, right? And I think what happens when, what's interesting is people who teach meditation are like the worst practitioners of this. They literally are the people who come in and go, I need quiet space. Like we need some quiet in order for this to happen. But the whole point of those practices, meditation and yoga and certain things is being able to lock in even when other things are happening around you, and being able to focus in on what you need to do, what your body is telling you, what your mind is telling you, like those things. And so many people think, well, I just need to get rid of the noise. And the noise is not outside of you, the noise is inside of you. It's not outside of you, right? So like me doing my work on the same screen as you is not noisy because I'm not talking to you, right? But those same people will come into our space and go, it's so noisy in here because like people are doing things. And it's like, yes, but it's because you're noisy on the inside. And we're helping people learn how to like really lock in to, regardless of what's happening around you, like Regina says, do you, boo, right? Like get you together and be able to handle it, because honestly, there are always going to be distractions. There are always going to be noises. There are always going to be things going on. And you got to be able to drown out the noise on the outside, because there are no perfect circumstances for you to work in. There's never a perfect circumstance.
No, there's not. And I think that's the beauty of being in Mingle, is understanding that we'll come together to work in a room and everyone, not necessarily their eyes glaze over, but they're so focused on something else, but we're still in community, So it's like, well, shit, and then everyone's going, you okay? What happened? Or my dog jumped on me. And it's like, ah! And so then I have this large, pit bull lab on myself, right? So that really, identified and answered that question about disruption. And disruption is what is occurring. It's a slow rollout right now, but it's going to pick up. And if we can't continue to focus, regardless of the disruption, especially when some of your mentors or collaborators are the disruption, it's just like, you have to roll with it. Right? So
yeah,
yes, those of us who are guilty are laughing.
Right. Guilty. I think that's also true of, so like Monica mentioned yoga and meditation and those things, and those are to prepare you to be able to navigate your life, right? Like your yoga practices to be able to prepare you to receive your spiritual guidance, right? And then to be able to take that off the mat into the world and maintain that still that sense of inner guidance and peace and clarity as you're navigating the world. And I think that is also true for what we're doing, right? We practice doing our own work in this space, in this collaborative space where other people are working too. And it does take a little while to get used to, right? And I'm not going to say that it doesn't. It took me a little while to get used to it too. And I was a classroom teacher. I was an art teacher, not even a classroom teacher. I was an art teacher. So I had to do my work in rooms with kids using paint and scissors and glue and whatnot, right? And teachers coming in and out and bells ringing and all that. And so I already kind of knew how to work in that. And then I did educational travel programs on the road, and it was still sometimes hard for me to lock in and do my own work in rooms with other people when I first started doing it in I've learned to meditate in my cubicle working in a forklift warehouse. Yes, Jamie.
Right on,
high five. Yes, right? It's exactly that, right? You have to be able to navigate the world when chaos is happening and not get thrown around by every single thing. You have to be able to maintain that stability and that clarity and move stuff along. And when I think back to my days of working in a cubicle, no one was being quiet around me. People were on the phone. The neon lights were on, the fluorescent lights, right? Phones were ringing. People were vacuuming. I know, because that's weird that people were vacuuming, but I would work late at night because I had meetings with China and Australia all the time. And the cleaning crew would literally be vacuuming next to me while I'm on a conference call. So it's not like that doesn't happen in a corporate world either. Right. But for some reason, there's this perception that as an entrepreneur, I sit in my house and I have quiet and I have solitude and I get my work done. But then it's also but that's also lonely.
Yes, it is. Hey, Trina, Trina is heading to Ireland. So I think if you're posting here, this means that your flight moved to tomorrow, which is sad for you. Because you should have been winging. She's going to be on, and I can't remember which Irish island is. She's going to be there for Beltane, and it's just like,
oh, nice,
moly! So that is really exciting. So
amazing.
Sorry, I digress.
No, that's great. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
I honestly think that what people aren't ready for is going to be radically necessary, is being really good at knowing yourself and being able to navigate whatever landscape you're going to have to be in, because I don't think times are going to get better before they're going to get worse before they get better, right?
Yeah.
And so knowing yourself and practicing being yourself, leveraging how you maneuver and being able to educate other people on how to like collaborate with you so that you can actually do what you need to do in order to be successful is what's coming. And I think that's the space that we build in. We do all these collaborative projects for that purpose, right? Really kind of helping people understand, like, I have a goal, you have a goal, and those goals are so similar that it's better for us to do it together than it is for us to do it apart. And I think Regina and I model that really well, in that we, again, are two separate business owners. We have two separate businesses. And even when we come together to collaboration, it's in her house or my house, right? But we work consistently together because our goals are the same. And there's plenty for both of us to get through that process. So
it's very true, very true. So
I feel like
I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say one additional thing with that is, if Monica and I were different people, we could be our biggest competitors, right? And someone recently said to me that there's too many people doing similar things in our space, and so it didn't feel like the right fit. And I was a little bit mind blown by that, because I was like, that means that all those people are your power partners. All those people understand what you're doing. All those people have people who need things that you are offering and want to play in the same space with you and collaborate with you. It felt like a big question mark as to, like, how could you not see that, right?
True.
But it also meant that wasn't the right space for this person to be in. And that's okay, right? It might be because it's just not the right timing. It might be because it's not actually what they want, right? But it was just interesting to me, because I do look at, somebody, one of my clients once said to me a couple of years ago, she was like, you and Monica do the same thing. And I was like, yeah, we do. That's why we work together. And she's like, well, how do you distinguish between what you do? And I was like, oh, we do it very differently. Right? Like, it was, and it makes total sense to me, right? Even Marvis, who was commenting earlier, she was like, I was saying something and I was like, I'm going to sound like Monica right now. And she's like, it's because you always say the same things. You just say them in very different ways. And I think that's true for a lot of people. It's not that you're not unique. You are, and you have a very specific way of doing things, but also most of what we're doing is not like totally mind-blowing, right? It's not like it's never been done in any form ever before, and it's completely new to the world. So why not find like the nuances in that and then partner up with other people so we can actually really be specific about how we do what we do. Yeah, totally true. Totally true. So Rachel said, but I may connect with you and not, or with Monica and not you. Absolutely. Right. And that's okay. That's why we're both here doing what we're doing. Yeah. But I have to not get upset about that.
Yeah. The beautiful part about it, though, is we don't lose anyone that way. Right. So someone who directly wants to hear things the way that I put them, very direct, like straight, no chaser, right? Is how I give things. And people who need to hear that can be there with me, and also get the benefit of the things that I don't do well, that Regina does do well as well, right? And people who need a little bit more spaciousness in the words, and a bit more, the delivery is still firm, but it has some cozy edges to it, right? Then they can actually go get Regina, and then the things that she doesn't do well, I can then help them with that too, right? So we don't lose anybody in that process. And we are actively looking for more people who do a thing that's similar to us, right? But isn't exactly the same thing that we do. So that someone else who may want to work with them can leverage our skills, or the people that we're dealing with can leverage their skills, which is one of the reasons why I have been working so heavily in Darcey stuff, because there's a certain amount of information that she has that I don't necessarily have, that my people need to have, right? And so the more that we fold in other people's genius, the more genius the system becomes, right? But if it's just my genius, it's limited. If it's just Regina's genius, it's limited. And there's only so far that can go. And also, let's be honest, sometimes people need to hear it 18 different ways in order for them to get it. We've had children be in our presence, and we say something and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then they see something on TikTok and they're like, I saw on TikTok this very thing. And you're like, bro, I literally have been telling you that your whole life. What the hell are you talking about? Right? Like, I've been saying this to you, right? But it's like, it needs to be heard in 18,050 ways, right? And the more that we can come together to actually do that for each other, the easier the whole helping someone, the faster they get to that point where they understand it. Because sometimes when I say stuff, it goes right over people's head. And then they go to Regina and she's like, oh, she explained it so well. I'm like, I literally said that to you, but in way less words, right? Or vice versa. She'll give an explanation of something, and then they'll come to me and she was like, I literally said that to you. And I was like, yeah, but I said way less words, right? It's
I say the exact words, and then they say it, she says it, and they're like, yes, that. And I'm like, what? But yeah, Rachel says it might take me 5 people to find my match. I think that's accurate, right? Keep playing and keep hearing it. And maybe it's not that the first person wasn't the right person or saying the right thing. It's that you needed to hear it 5 times. And it finally landed on that 5th time, right? And then there's also the it's not just the short game, it's the long game too. And I think this is where a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, have been taught that it's a dog eat dog world, and you got to get out there and you got to fight for your stuff, and you got to lock in right away. And it's gross. Don't do that. And but it sounds terrible. Just don't do that. But the thing is that maybe it's that you actually needed to go here and work with this person first. Actually, a lot of the people that come in through my door, right? They meet me, they're like, oh, this is really cool, I love what you're doing. And then they immediately navigate or are magnetized to Monica for a long time, right? Sometimes they come in through me, they're a member in my universe, in my membership, but they spend a lot of time with Monica because they actually need what she has. And then later they come to me and they're ready to work with me at that point, right? And vice versa. Sometimes Monica will bring people in and they end up spending a lot of time in my world or in Darcey's world, or, in someone else's world. They just spend a lot of time with Colleen, or spend a lot of time with Doreen or Marvis, or right. They spend the time with the people that they need. But that also means that they're getting something through coming in through me that I'm not actually the right person to offer myself, but I am the right person to offer through that person, right? So it's one thing that's very different about here is that it's not just about what you are offering to your members and that they have to be like consuming all of the things that you have. They're coming in to an ecosystem. They're not coming into your business. They're coming into an ecosystem. They're coming in through your business. And it's a different thing. And it does also take some getting used to.
Yeah.
It does. It does. It's a unique idea that you don't find elsewhere. And for me, speaking for myself, there wasn't necessarily distrust, but it was like, this is unbelievable. I mean, I'm going to pinch myself and wake up and this isn't going to be real. But it is real. And I've been, I don't even know what, 2 years I've been with y'all. And it just validates over and over. Yeah, there's that too. It's just the value of being here with like-minded people who love outwardly and want to see you succeed and grow. How can I be part of that support for you? Right. Yeah. And it's just as I give, I receive. So it's like a love fest here.
it is a strange place. Especially because like that's not how the rules of everywhere else works, right? Like the rules of everywhere else is you have to pay your respects, right? You have to buy your time in order to get to a position in which people trust what you're saying. And for you to be important in that space. In Mingle, kind of like when you come in the door, you're important, right? Like you're important we like embody the like, what do they call it? The teacher, learner, leader kind of experience, where even when I'm teaching something, you're teaching me about what I am teaching. And even when
it's very true,
right? Like even if I'm facilitating, right? Like I'm like, okay, here's a concept. And then there's feedback on said concept, or the answer that you give me is not the answer I was expecting. There's a learning in that for me. Oh, I don't know that's what I was asking. Maybe there's something that I need to shift. And so why this is different than other things is when you actually are in the space and either facilitating or receiving, right? You are, as a receiver, you are also teaching. As a facilitator, you are also learning. And that is always the case. There are 0 cases where you're only learning, and you're only facilitating, right? It's always the case. And we're all like, continuous evolution is one of my core values, right? It's like every time we deliver something, the feedback that we get from that delivery of that thing informs how I do it again, right? So like there are no 2 things in this space that are exactly the same as the last time. So if something was offered at one point and you're like, oh, I already went to that. No, you didn't, because it's a completely different experience.
Same topic, different day, different people, different understanding of it. Like it continues to deepen throughout every experience. But I mean, the thing is, this is the case always anyway. Yes. It's just that we actively celebrate it and put it on the surface, right? And
encourage it, right? Like we want you to teach us something as you sit there and learn. We want to learn from you in your genius, because there's something that we can learn about ourselves in that. And the best decision that I think I could have ever done is decided to be a learner leader and create a space that's that, because that was also what Regina wanted, right? And so when we came together, then it was like, oh, you're crazy too. Awesome. Let's be crazy together.
Let's do this. Yeah.
Let's do it. Insane asylum, go, right? It was
but very easy to know that we were
neither of us wanted to do that. Neither of us wanted to be sitting on some pedestal talking to the masses and being like, yes, they're children. I'm shepherding you into the truth of, like, that's bullshit, right? It's so bullshit. And the bigger the pedestal, the farther the fall, right? I'd rather be sitting in the circle with you, crisscross applesauce, hand to hand, knees to knees, all of us sitting in the same ground and kind of like sharing and breaking bread and experiencing together, because way more fun, a lot less pressure.
Yeah.
True. All right. So we are at the top of the hour and we're going to go ahead and wind down. Is there any last things that you would like to share, Monica and Regina? And y'all can put questions into the comments if you have anything to disrupt this episode with.
Which, by the way, thank you to Jamie and Rachel, Marvis,
Trina.
Thank you guys for chiming in. We love when you guys chime in. It makes it feel like the room is bigger than just the three of us. So fantastic.
Yes, absolutely.
I guess my final thought is, so the theme was supposed to be work smart, play hard. And I think that's what we talked about today. We talked about what it looks like to actually work smart and play hard. Because we're not trying to outpace or be better than anyone in the room, it allows us to actually be smarter about how we execute everything, which makes all the work feel like play. I literally have an alarm that says stop working for lunch, because I will sit here and chat with y'all about all the things. But like, in order to like kind of create that space, stop working. I think what we have created here is a way to actually work smarter and also simultaneously be able to play smart too, but like be able to play hard in our lives.
Yeah, I second that. I think it's leveraging the collective genius, but also like the collective humanness, right? Like, I think one of the biggest things that we hear from people is that entrepreneurship is lonely, and but then they like get real weird about having social time, when even in the midst of like, oh, we just fall into chat for a little while, like, like we're always working and playing and it flows seamlessly. But I think most people's barriers are in thinking like, I'm at work and now I need to be at work and I have to work, right? Like, but if you actually, right? Like, but if you actually look at the conversations that happen, they're always on point, because energetically, we've built this energetically into the walls, into the structure. And so even today, we didn't really talk about the theme that we decided we were going to use, which was actually working smarter, not harder, which you put it into your own language. I love it. Like, work hard, play hard. Exactly.
Work smart, play hard.
Work smart, play hard. Yeah. But we still talked about it. And it happened organically. It happened naturally, because we set the stage and we created the intention of this is what we're going to talk about. And then we just relaxed into it and we did all the things that we needed to do anyway. And I think that's the magic of Mingle.
This is true.
Mic drop.
I had a mic to drop, yes. See, we need a paddle that has a mic on it. So we don't break your mic, Regina. Well,
no, I very carefully dropped it.
Speaking of playing hard and working smart, tomorrow you all are invited to mingle and chat at noon PST, PDT, whatever it is. Tomorrow, just come into, and I'll drop the link. I'm sorry?
I said, I just say Pacific. I don't try to track the daylight. That's crazy.
Well, yeah. So
I say PT.
Pacific time, y'all do whatever you want to do with that. At noon, we're going to have some fun at Mingle and Chat. In theory, you would call it a networking thing, but we just get together to have fun. So and to get to know each other on a personal level.
It's called Mingle and Chat, not networking. It's organic networking. You're getting to know actual people. So come
Right.
ready to get to know actual people and to show up as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Please only show up
Please.
as a person. We don't need you to show up as your business. We just need you to show
We'll
up
get
as
to know your
as a
business
person.
very well by getting to know you.
Oh, sorry, Michelle.
Oh, Michelle, welcome.
You'll have to watch the replay because we are closing shop, if you will. So,
But it was nice to have you here with us for a moment.
yes. So, but we will be back next Tuesday because we missed last Tuesday. So, we are typically every other Tuesday. So, we may
My
get to
fault. I
that.
was traveling.
She was on a 3-week cruise. I want to go into Gilligan's Island. It's Marvis who made the potato salad.
She's always trying to start the conversation. This is the end, ma'am.
No Miracle Whip.
Oh, no raisins.
No raisins.
No.
No.
We have strong opinions about potato salad here. So if you want to learn more about our strong opinions on potato salad, come join us in Mingle and Chat.
Tomorrow, noon, come to the annex. I will put the link in on. Do you want to put the link in, Monica?
Yeah, we'll put it somewhere. We'll put it all the places.
Okay, cool beans.
We will.
All right. And then y'all who will work with me more intimately, you know how to get to the Learning Annex. And then we'll show you how to get to the room to mingle and chat.
Yes.
You were waiting
Perfect.
for Monica at 3.
Huh?
Oh, she was coming to see you, Michelle.
Oh, for the conference, maybe.
As a speaker.
All right. This sounds like a bigger conversation.
Yes, we can move that one on. And Rachel, to answer your question, monsters put raisins in potato salad. All right, wrap us up, Darcey, and then Monica, you can connect with Michelle.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We will be back again next Tuesday around 3 p.m.-ish Pacific time. Not even going to go PDT or PST, whatever the hell it is, but next week at this time.
Uh-oh.